Friends, in this one, we're going to do the following exercise. So imagine we have an array. So declare an array of integers, say, and then initialize it. We'll call it R for the sake of simplicity. And imagine we put these values in there. For example, 2, 3, 5, 8, and terminate with a semicolon. Here's what we want to do as an example exercise. Imagine we want to form the product 2 times 8 to get 16, and then the 3 times the 5 to get 15. So you want to be able to take the first entry, multiply to the last entry here to get the product, and then take the middle entry and multiply by this entry here and get that product. How can we do this? Well, in this case, it turns out that being able to have two variables within the header really makes a difference. So for int I equals 0, now why am I typing this? Because the 2 is at index 0, that's why. And then I'm going to have to also access the entry at index 0, 1, 2, 3. So what you can do is type a comma here, and then type j equals 3. So I can again declare and set two different variables in that position. This refers to the starting index, and this refers to the stopping index. Okay, and then I'm going to do here I, and then less than or equal to. But think about it. I want to do 2 times 8 and then 3 times 5 and be done, right? So that means I will represent the 2 and the 3 in turn, but the 3 is at index 2, because the index, or rather 1, right? Because remember the indexes here look like the following. Let me put them down, right? So, okay, there you go. So this is 0, right? This is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Those are the indexes. So that's why here I'm going to type I is less than or equal to 1 for that reason, because that will get me to the second entry. And as we operate, since the j begins at 3 and the I begins at 0, we're going to have to do this, I plus plus. So the I is going to increase here from index 0 to index 1. And the j is going to begin at index 3 and has to decrease to index 2. So it's going to be j minus minus. That's the construction of the loop header. Now we just want to print these values so we can use array access notation. So you can say console.writeLine here, and then use array access notation. So we'll type r of I. Remember at runtime, like when I has the value 0, this is just r of 0, which is 2. You're going to multiply by r of j, which again, when you first run the loop, I has the value 0, but j has initially the value 3. This is saying take the 2 and multiply by the 8 effectively. That's what it's saying at runtime. And then this I will increase here from, let's say, 0 up to 1. So this would be r of 1, which is 3. And the j will decrease by 1. So since j begins at 3, is going to go down to 2. So this would be basically then the 3 times the 5 effectively at runtime to be displayed. So let's give it a go. Start with the debugging here. Give it a second. And look, it works, right? Because 2 times 8 is 16, and then 3 times 5 is 15. And we can operate on, for example, the two different ends of an array using this kind of mechanism. Let me shut this down. Shut this down. You should at least once hit this with step into just to see what it looks like at runtime. What's going on here with that? Okay, let that get loaded. Step into it. F11. Okay, initialize array. So I is equal to 0, j equals 3. So you see the initialization runs first, right? Then you check the condition. And then you go into write line because the condition was true, right? So look, I is right now representative of 0. And then j is representative of 3. So this is r of 0 times r of 3, in other words. In other words, 2 times 8. That runs. Then you're going to do I plus plus. Then you're going to do j minus minus. So within each place where you have two variables declared or you're operating on two variables, that bit of code just runs from left to right, correct? What I mean is like I plus plus runs followed by j minus minus. That runs from left to right within that little sub block. Okay, and then you're going to check the condition. Come down to here. The condition is still true. So I has the value 1. So it's r of 1. J has the value 2. So it's r of 2. So you're going to multiply the 3 and the 5 together. Then again, you're going to do I plus plus, then j minus minus. Now put your mouse over I. I has the value 2. Well, that's it. So that means the condition will fail, right? You see how it's false? And j has the value 1. But the j is not included in the condition in the middle. So the point is, look, when you hit this step, it just takes you down to line 11 to close the curly brace on the body of main. And then you shut down, and the code is executed. Please leave a like if it's been interesting and insightful.